this session.
This is a utility permit application for telecommunications company to run fiber optic cable to a house in York Township.
I don't know what this is on here,
But there's a map on the back where it is. Down there, right?
yeah.
So,
It's going into the guy's house. Cool,
I think is what Philip Nesson said.
That's what I'm 700 feet. He's on the sand road.
I was born under it, okay.
Yeah.
Someone just turns through.
There's crossing the road.
Yeah. Have we given it a number yet?
I don't think he did. I'm not sure what Philip is.
Do we need to have a motion for that? Yeah. So I'll make a motion, we approve this utility permit application for Township, SC Telecom, Township 25 South, R11-W, Section 28 and 29.
I'll second that.
You know where that's at?
I'm not gonna repeat that.
Just utility use
Yeah,
permit.
there you go.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Just two of them. That last one.
This is a new one, or this is one we got back?
This is the reworded one, yes.
Chelsea, you come on.
It's a lot longer and more complicated than the first one.
I'm sure. Just the top two. I'm good, minutes. Yeah. I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of April 5th, 2017.
Second that.
There is a motion of second to approve the minutes of April 5th.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Chelsea.
I'm here to request to hire County for their reception position.
Let's see that.
This range of the step, is that comparable to where?
Yeah, it's the same range.
It doesn't require a motion, does it?
Yeah.
It is.
I make a motion to hire Kaylee Kistner, range 4, step 1, for the receptionist at the health department.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to hire Kaylee Kistner to be the receptionist at the health department, starting at range 4, step 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Also, removing health fairs this weekend. 7 to 11 on Saturday.
This weekend.
And no food or drink after 10 p.m.
If you want your test to be accurate.
When will Candace's first day be?
Monday.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Here, you need to take
No.
this. And you need to do it.
Thanks.
So you say next Monday to ballot, canvass the ballots?
Maybe about 5 minutes.
Well, I guess we got time, we can read through the request to the Attorney General.
Recess.
Yeah, we'll recess.
We had juvenile court on Monday, and talking to JJ, the assistant director, they're talking like using ankle bracelet monitors instead of housing. It's $150 a day per kid.
And there's 2 kids.
And there's two brothers, but we have them quite often, but it doesn't take much, that $150 a day, but they have ankle bracelets. And about a total cost of about $700, kind of a brief rundown of what they have. But it's something I'm going to check into also, just a heads up. This is basically just a heads up about using them for some of our adults that don't really fall into, they could have a jail term, but yet they have a full-time job, it's a first-time deal. We use an ankle bracelet monitor on them too, because it costs us about $1,400 a month per adult. And it would be more than we pay for that. There is a daily fee on it and a setup fee, but if they're working, as far as adults,
They
they pay for it. They pay the cost. I mean, getting out of jail is not free. And the parents, if they don't want their kids to go to juvenile lockup, will pay for it. So, as far as the daily usage fee, that wouldn't be a part of it, just be the outright buy. And then that's what's set up.
So you're wanting to do 2 of these?
Well, he was going to talk to you if you wanted to purchase one. He didn't know if you had it. That's the reason I said if he had talked to you yet. But
I guess my
He
question
did
would be,
not.
what happens
No.
when you get more than what you have equipment for? I mean, do you just keep
sorry,
buying?
no, sorry. You might have to kind of pick and choose. Well, I'm sorry, we've already got them on this. We don't have that option right now. You'll go to jail or you go to juvenile detention.
Or they can buy the equipment, I guess.
They could actually buy the equipment.
That's what I would say. Can we have them buy the equipment and that becomes property of the county?
Well, some of the families
Like
just learn how
can't
to
do
get
that.
jail ported.
Yeah, we're not dealing with,
Well, I'm just saying,
Cream
I mean,
of
if we've got, say, we typically you have 2 and all, for whatever reason, all of a sudden we have 5.
If they wanted, they'd have to pay for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't myself.
I mean, that's what I don't want to get into is, yeah, we
No.
did it for these 2 kids or these 2 guys, and now all of a sudden you don't have the equipment available, and it ain't fair to somebody else's kids that they ain't offered. You see what I'm
well,
saying?
It can be offered.
me personally, I would kind of throw it back to community corrections.
Community corrections, but then, I mean,
And
yeah,
say,
they're trying to build it up. But they're-
you know,
but
we're happy to utilize that service if you have it, you know.
This is a juvenile detention, about $150 a day now,
it's $150 a day per individual.
and that's in Hutch.
And that's an action.
You have to transport them.
Oh, yeah.
And back, and over.
So these 2 brothers, they're ranging up to $300 a day. Are they still there? Or,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're, well, as far as I know, they're still there.
okay, well,
I know they were gonna try to find a place.
Mike Daniel had the authority to
Authority
move them out.
to move them.
So.
But just for that weekend alone, when they were on our bill, but the transporting to there for courts and back and forth and every day, it was easily $800 plus. $600 just for room, and then we had all the transport times.
And Daniel told me they were looking to buy 2 more.
And they were looking to buy some too and things like that.
Who's that? Who's looking to buy?
Community
Mike
corrections.
Daniels, assistant director for community corrections.
As far as I'm concerned, he can.
I want to check in for our adults also, and they'd be for our county only. That's what I would like to do.
Who's going to monitor?
Once they pay the setup fee, the setup pay for that, and from my understanding, it goes directly to the home.
Well, what I mean is
Dispatcher?
It could be done through dispatch. I
See,
mean,
that's-
juvenile corrections they have their own system where it goes directly to them. I think whoever sets them up could set it up to us ourselves.
well, you know,
That's something I wanted to check into.
well, your probation officer supervises that individual, be it an adult or juvenile. And if he wants to put him on house arrest or has that authority to do the ankle bracelet or whatever, then that probation officer is the guy that's monitoring to make sure he's complying with not leaving the zone or whatever.
Leaving the zone.
My question is, who are you proposing do that?
I think we could do it through dispatch. It's not like we're gonna have so many of them out there. We would be able to track who would leave their, say, if you have a house arrest in their own yard, and notify. I mean, it's not like we're gonna have 30 or 40 that, besides the regular duties. I mean, if they just notify them, we know if they have to go out their area.
Well, if the person's, if it's an adult, let's just 30 days of ankle bracelet. I'm gonna guess is whoever that individual is, that they're gonna have a probation officer that's gonna wanna know
What no, also probably, yeah.
that information, so. My suggestion would be talk to court services,
See if
corrections, and say, if the county were to buy to, how would we measure synchronize?
because
But I hate for us to buy it, and then they say, oh, well, we don't want to use it, or we're not gonna use
With
yours.
a TV monitor like that.
Yeah.
Huh? Well, they do.
Won't use it all.
But on the
My knowledge, they haven't, have they?
I'm aware of
What's that?
first appearance monitoring.
Oh, I'd love to use that.
Everybody
It's-
would,
it's
but
there.
people
We've got-
that control it.
Kyle, yeah.
Oh, I'm like, do the jails,
They all have them.
Have
I've
the
been sure of
ability
that. We paid for one of them.
We
The
just
other
need to
ones have it.
update the software.
so who doesn't want to do it?
Third floor.
Huh?
You need to use it.
We do.
Save some money.
Save a lot of money.
Greensburg.
I mean, we do it in Hutch.
Brad.
Well, Greensburg, I
We
think
talked
they were- I
to
don't know if you ever finished
Judge
in
Keeley
Greensburg
about
or
it,
not.
and he was gonna see that they used it. To my knowledge, they've never used it.
But
I mean, there's certain things, you
Isn't it
can't- like
right
first
now?
appearances, yeah, you can,
Right.
if they've got a trial or something.
Right,
you
yeah.
can be here.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
We need to go down
I
and
thought
transport
Randy
it.
was checking in all that. I
no.
mean,
yeah.
Someday we're gonna have a bad
We
deal
can
with
ask-
transporting
And
this
and
prisoners
it's,
around.
it's not terribly
And
complicated.
it ain't if, it's when. I mean, unfortunately.
Well, next time we have a first appearance trial, put a bug in the air and
Okay.
we'll have a grand experiment.
We'll see how it goes.
You do.
Because I know.
Before you haul somebody here for first
We
appearance,
just
call me.
updated all that software.
And then we paid.
We
Yeah.
paid for
Greensburg.
Pratt
All
or
the
Greensburg or
equipment
one
is
of them.
set up.
Greensburg.
Greensburg, I think.
We paid for that one.
Well, and when we first started Reno County, the technology wasn't quite perfected and it was a little iffy, didn't always work, and sometimes we had to do other things, but now we do it every day, every morning. Because they moved, the jail in Reno County used to be right there across the hall from the courtroom, but now it's down in the south end of town and it's a 5-10 minute drive, and so,
We wish it could only be 5 minutes.
We won't do it on
but,
a 60-mile drive.
yeah, I mean, nothing's perfect.
It's just one trip.
Yeah.
And normally they're double trips, so.
That would be great.
Okay.
I would encourage that.
I'm on board.
I have no problems with it. It's done my mileage, no problem with that. Well, and the time, because we had them here at 1 and I didn't leave till 4. So, with those juveniles, so we were just tied up all afternoon with them in the world too.
And we had,
And we had that first appearance that day too, when we had Misty.
Very good.
But now with adults, you said get 150 a day.
No,
No.
adults are 45.
Kids.
45 a day.
45 a day.
Okay,
At
so
least that's
it's
what
the
Brad,
same
and they're all
price
about
as
the
what it'd
same
be
price
for a
as
jail.
They've all kind of went up.
Right.
A bit.
What?
Don't we pay $45 a day for
Yeah,
Brad?
that's what he's saying,
Yeah.
in jail.
but juveniles,
Juveniles.
Yeah, yeah.
150.
But I mean with the ankle bracelet on adults.
With the ankle bracelet on adult, it would be a $5 a day monitoring fee.
Okay.
I mean, it's $20 setup, but it's 5 day, yeah, it's $5 a day daily fee for the monitoring part of it.
But
So that'd be
the
cost.
offender pays that.
Yeah, the
Cost
offenders.
effective.
In theory.
Yeah.
well, it's good because the person keeps your job.
Right.
And it wouldn't work for every case, but certain cases, there's certain cases it would work for.
Would the judge, or who would decide whether they were a candidate for an ankle bracelet? Who would do that?
Well, actually, you would have some say in that. And,
Okay.
I mean, you can make the motion, I mean, I guess, instead of incarceration.
Mhm.
And of course, it all depends what their attorney wants too.
Typically, what I do in Reno County, say somebody has to do 5 days. I say, okay, do 48 hours and do 5 days with the bracelet or house arrest or whatever. You know, you get a little longer, but you get to be out, so there's some kind of trading. But, you know,
It's kind of a perk.
it is, and, you know, most people, if they do have a job, they're willing to pay the cost,
Yeah.
you know, to keep the job.
And like I say, $5 a day is their fee.
I typically don't offer to people who don't have a job,
Right.
hey, how you gonna pay it? I'm not gonna, you know, you're just sitting at home watching TV.
Yeah, they don't
Not-
need it.
Not much of a punishment there,
No.
so.
Very good.
There's an option you can look into.
That's good. I heard that shut off.
Me? Yeah, are you gonna be downstairs in your office? As soon as we're done here.
We'll recess, Carol.
Yeah.
It was a long day. We started at 9, I testified till 11:45, took an hour lunch, came back and PPD testified till right at probably 4 o'clock. And then, I think two of the taxpayers testified for a little while. We walked out at about 5:10, 5:15. So, what they did though, is, since it was so complex and so many different things going on, is the judges gave them, so we had the hearing.
That's March.
Okay. Was that the 5th?
That's March.
I need to just quit looking. Yours is on April, but.
No, it's not. It's on March. There's.
Was it a Wednesday?
Yeah.
The
We can get a
fifth.
day. Okay, so they have till the 19th, they give them 2 weeks to do a closing statement. And then after that closing statement, they said they would, what they summoned then is they summoned an order within 14 days of that then. And if anybody's agreed by that, they can file for the full order and ask for more details. So, all in all, it went, I think, pretty good. I think the taxpayers' attorney did a good job on their side, but I also think the state did a good job on their side, you know, explaining the system and so forth. And I think some things that came out would probably be some, they might even make some changes on what's kind of hidden from the not hidden from the taxpayers, but where you can't even get to it, some of the information. Some of it is confidential, though. That's what kind of brings in where the state can't show everything that all the questionnaires are confidential. All the income information is confidential. You can look at a summary, but what they were trying to say is how did you get to this number? And you can't necessarily show them how to get to that number because it's in confidentiality. So that was kind of brought up, that that's kind of the way it is in anything, you know. If you talk about an income producing property and I get income from Kurt on a specific business, he's giving me that information in confidence that that's not going to be an open record. And typically it's not even an appraisal if it has to do with the income approach. So if I did his on the income approach and his value might look lower, you might want to come in and you might say, well, I want a value like that. How'd you get it? And I'm going to say, Shane, I can't tell you. So you're not going to like it, but you wouldn't like that.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it is sometimes in that kind of a situation. So I think it did okay though. I mean,
So when, you said like in 4 weeks that they,
we should get some sort of an order.
really, I didn't figure it'd be that fast.
Yeah. Amelia, the attorney for property valuation department, she did a good job. She did. I think we did okay. You know, I ended up making 3 trips up there. You know, I think that worked out good using property valuation department's attorney, mostly because they had to document what they do anyway. I mean, I had to document what I did, what we did when we hired that AOS company to do the composites on top of each other, and we did the land entry and make sure we did the land use layers and the soil type layers and this, that, and the other. So, but that took a little time, but all in all, I think it worked out okay.
So you think they'll change the values, or do you think they're gonna?
And once again, you know, we have to remember, if it's done for, if anything's changed, it's done for those 30 parcels, and that's it. Those are the only ones that appealed onto the Board of Tax Appeals. You know, probably one thing that came out of it, and I don't know if we want to have a meeting and kind of push this, because this would be the time of the year, is my own self, I believe that all the Carlisle soil should be relooked at in not just Stafford County, but in Kansas. Because it's not, the Carlisle doesn't go real far, it's kind of would be in the south central area. But those soils are wrong, you guys. That Carlisle is just absolutely wrong. And I think people know it, but I don't think it's on the priority when you look at the entire state.
No, because they don't want to pay more.
I don't think it is, but and I don't want people, we're not doing this for a revenue situation or anything, you know, I do the same thing if it go the other way,
Right.
backwards. But it is, the Carlisle is wrong here, it's wrong in Pratt County, it's wrong in every single county.
So
It
Bright
is.
County's not gonna update theirs then?
Well, they don't, the one soil that I'm talking about is that soil that is came out of Oklahoma. And that Carlisle is just labeled incorrect. And I think when they redid the Cheney Water District, I think everybody knew it and everybody already, it was corrected. I think those same soils would be changed also. But, you know, whether we start with, you know, the local NRCS and then go to the main meeting and get this thing moved up somehow, this priority job, I think that's what I would like to see us do. You know?
How would property valuation be able to do that in that specific watershed and allow an unfair taxation lawsuit by the rest of the soil types of that soil type not being changed
Well,
or updated?
well, it's because the different entity did it. The NRCS
Well,
did
I
it.
guess
and
who's responsible to do the rest of it?
Well, that's why I would like to get with the NRCS and maybe the county, get something going, because they have their meetings in May, from what I understand, was it May or June, May?
I don't remember.
To where they start working out the progress for the next year to do the
But I mean,
project.
I guess my question in a roundabout way would be, is it our responsibility? Is it your responsibility? Is it NRCS's responsibility? I mean, I guess I don't see whose responsibility it would be other than property valuations, because they're the ones that did allow the Cheney watershed.
I think it would, to be honest with you, I think it would be our responsibility to bring it to light. I do. I think we would have to be the ones to say, NRCS locally, we would like this soil type redone. We've educated ourselves to where the NRCS now understands if they make a change, what it does down the road. From when we had those meetings, they didn't follow up. They didn't know what they were doing to the tax procedures. And I think now everybody knows what's going on. But
So on that map, is that basically the team complected soil type? Roughly?
Right there at the bottom
At
is
the
the
bottom,
right.
and it goes up through this rest of the count, no, down.
No.
you know, I
Right there.
really,
I mean, is that kind of that?
Well, you know, it actually could be because there's a lot of it, the tan is up in the rest of the county
That's
too.
my next question was how many acres or how many parcels do you think are still affected by that soil type being classified wrong?
A lot. A lot. But it went on to be here, and I did want to learn one thing up there, is one reason that maybe Pratt hasn't had the problem that we have, or we have a huge amount of acreage. So if you look at the percent of our county that has the Carwile, that has that, and when you start looking at how values are set by the percent of soil, by the percent of how much is in each county, if Pratt County, from what I understand, Pratt County might only have 5,000 acres of that soil type. We might have 24,000 acres. So we have a higher percent that's going to kick our values. It makes our farmers look like they're making more money or they're producing better, when all the documents you look at, we're not. The three counties are real close as far as when I throw in Reno County. The three counties, rainfall is real close, the yields are close, the commodities are all close. I now believe it's the percent of acres that we have in this county.
Of that soil type.
And what I also think is causing this problem is 11% of our county is the Carwile, so you have 11% of the county wrong, which is going to be a higher percent than the other counties, which I think is inflating the price per acre.
Were you able to get into that in your testimony?
No, not on that percent, because that was brought up probably the last hour of testifying. And so I actually thought about that driving home.
It'd be nice if they knew that.
That's my opinion, because I think it's the percent of the acreage in our county compared to the percent of acreage in Reno County and in Pratt County and in the other counties. I think we have the most of it.
What was the impression of the taxpayers that went down there? Did they think it, did they even talk to you afterwards? Or?
Well, the first time we actually went down on the fourth floor and because they went in recess for a while and we sat there and had a snack and talked. The day of the hearing, we actually all ate together, the taxpayers and actually their attorney and everybody. We all just sat at a table and kind of talked about it a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I think everybody at that time was in agreement that, you know, the taxpayer's attorney was doing good. It was asking good questions, good concerns, and so forth.
So you think he did his homework a little bit then?
Yeah. I you know, he did a good job.
I was a little worried about that.
Both did.
I think Josh did most of the background work on that.
There was a lot of papers, a lot of things, and the day we had the hearing, everything went, evidence-wise, went smooth. I mean, the county had 2 exhibits, which I lumped one of them into one huge one, so. But I want to say the state had 29, and maybe the taxpayer had 31, or, I mean, there was a lot of exhibits. And I think every exhibit was looked at. So I keep you guys up on that though. And the in depth that this hearing went into, I asked Zoe. She was she testified for the property valuation department. They haven't had one go this deep ever, and this long. Typically an hour and a half.
That's good.
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of things was brought out. I think hopefully that PVD might make some changes, maybe for the future. But what's hard for me is knowing that one soil is wrong or incorrect. I feel it's in. I don't even go as far as I think it's wrong.
Well, didn't Stan say that down in Oklahoma that soil type is in the bottom of some swamp?
Red soil. Yeah, even the red soil, that's what it is. That's the Carwile in Oklahoma.
Did you ever mention that you thought the car wow was wrong in your testimony?
It was brought up, because remember, you gotta remember
That's something
that
they could do something with.
back in 2013, that's what I'm asking us to maybe get involved with. If you guys remember back in 2012 and 13, Stan and I brought this up. And we had a meeting, and then the NRCS soil scientist wrote a letter because I deviated my value back in 2012, not using waste ground on that soil type, 6330. I never forget that number, 6330.
I even remember that.
Because the state still uses $10 or $11 an acre for that soil type. Well, the soil scientists all said that that soil type is comparable to 5870. It does produce better. So because of that memo, because of that letter back in 2012, Stafford County and Pawnee County has used the same price from that soil type, 5870 for 6330. So if you look at it on paper, we're at $91 an acre. The other counties are still at 10. That's how I know the state hasn't fixed it. That's how I know NRCS hasn't fixed it, because that number would not be 10 anymore. And they actually said that was okay what we did, because I used the soil scientist expert opinion on that. But my question was, well, why can't we fix it then? We need to fix that. So I guess if we, do you want me to get with Stan? Do you guys want the county to address this? I mean, you guys might catch some slack saying, because I'm sure some taxpayers are gonna say, you're doing this for revenue, but it
Well,
has nothing to do with that.
We can always, if it's that big of a revenue increase, we can always adjust the mill rate down. I just want it all to be the same.
Okay. I'll get with Stan
I mean,
then.
that's,
Because I don't think right now it's fair.
yeah, I don't,
And then you're right, it's not. It's not fair.
What percent? You said 11% of the whole county is that soil type. What percent would be down there that have already been changed? Half of it, or?
No,
no.
no,
Not half of it?
maybe 15%.
Okay. So 85% still.
It just sort of feels.
Because you look at the size of the county, and that portion is very small in the Cheney Water District. I mean, the rest of the county.
Unfortunately, this is happening at the wrong economic time.
Sure it
I mean,
has.
that's the hard part, and I think that's why we're getting a reaction of the taxpayers we're getting, is because of, there's no money. I mean, there's no money being produced to pay that.
That's probably not actually a soil map, is it?
No,
That don't look-
No, it's,
It'd be more scattered and hit and miss than that is, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it has something to do with the soils, and I can't read that little writing anymore. But you know, that pocket around Stafford, there is a pocket of pretty good soil right there. I mean, so I think it has something to do with the soils, but
Well, that's the black ground right there, that kind of purplish color going around Stafford.
so I'll get with Stan then and see if we have time or what. And you know, and the reason I guess I would like to move on this now is it might still take a year to do that. One thing that this would be easier to do though is you wouldn't have to go replug everything. I would just like to see the soil name renamed with a new SRPG rating, soil rating.
so for Carlisle, you've got Miller, Carmiller.
Yeah.
CM 352.
Little brand does
It's
this.
just an idea, you know.
He did write that down.
You guys already wrote it down.
Oh,
It was probably, you know, I think that, what's that one town, Langdon? Langdon. I think that was one of the new names of one of the soils actually, was the Langdon / something.
It's one of the
Look at that
big-
area. North and west.
Dooleyville.
Dooleyville soil.
Looks like,
Cool.
looks like you got the same soil type right north and west of the creek in St. John.
It's scattered everywhere. I do have the map of that 6330 what's left.
I might come down and look at your map.
I don't think you or I will like
We
this.
can't make a decision on that though.
But you'll let me look at your map, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll keep you up on that. I'll keep
Very
a
good.
stand then. Have a zoning meeting, the 24th. I still can't look at that.
Oh, yes.
24th. I'm gonna get, needed the information. Monday. It should be in the Stafford Courier today, the publication. We mailed out to the taxpayers last week. Did you get yours? Okay. And then it's set for the 24th at 8 p.m. because in the summer times we move them back an hour for everybody involved. About Lawrence, he's going to move everything out there. We're going to try to cover everything in this one because we went through one back in 15 for the impound yard and the car storage. This one here is going to cover everything that Lawrence does, from selling carports to having a sign to everything else. And then we're sending this, but that'll be the 24th at 8 p.m. at the end over there. And I have one more thing, if we have time. Just be one quick thing then, is I need to find out from you guys, because this is my 4 years, all county appraisers. I know there's a statute running around up there that we should be elected and not appointed. That's not gonna happen by June 30th of this year. Can you guys kind of tell me how you feel?
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
No, I mean about me.
On his
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, maybe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's,
I know a fair bit.
They were just
I did
shaking
too. I got it.
Yeah, I was like,
You didn't?
But it's kind of
biggest thing
giving
we've ever heard of.
yeah. I mean, because you guys, I mean, you do have the right to open it. You do. I mean, and they're already.
Well, I guess my question would be, last time we discussed this, I believe you were trying to phase Pawnee County out.
Mhm.
Is that still,
Yeah, but one thing that Pawnee County is going to try to do is they're going to try to make it almost impossible for me to do that. Because we've already talked about it. And they keep continuing to say that's not going to happen.
you're not leaving there?
Yeah. They don't want to get back in the pool of where they were at, is what they don't want to do. You know, I would like to be honest with you, yes, I do. Yeah. Tina is qualified over there. I think they would be more comfortable if maybe Tina had a lot more experience instead of just getting RMA and then being the breaker. Two different things on there. So,
I guess my feelings are, I like the job you do, and I think the taxpayers do too. I mean, some of them don't like the numbers, but I mean, that's the way it goes. But I think your office is ran well, and you do a good job. I just don't want to see you get spread too thin or burn out or make too much money and retire too early. That's what I don't want to see, I guess.
And get too many soil types named after.
At least 4 more years.
okay. There you go. Okay, well, I'll keep you up on that then, if you guys are interested. Because I do know some counties, what they're going to do is they're just opening it. Because they just want to see what's out there. Even if they have the intent of hiring the same person, they're going to open it.
In western Kansas, there aren't very many options out there, are there, for appraisers?
You know, not really. Some of them go with the company/appraiser because they have, some of the companies now have the RMA designations, and then so they're doing companies to do that. The only thing I felt bad, the only thing when I feel bad about that is I can use, I think, Hodgman County, which is Jetmore, right? To where they had a district appraiser, but they came into the county one time a month. The people that's getting the short end of the stick there is the taxpayers, because you can't do And then they couldn't get onto the system if they was in Wichita or wherever. I mean, that, I feel bad for the taxpayers on that deal. Because you can't do this, you can't do the job. You can't, it's impossible, in my mind.
Well, it was the bill I was referring to as the craziest thing ever.
Okay.
I called a few on leaving on that one, but I don't think it's gonna go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they tried to a while back, but, one thing that, is, we have to have so many points, you have to throw that out the door. And one of them up there, legislator said that, well, to be able to run for office, you would have to have this already, and this already, and this already. Well, not if it's an elected official, how are you gonna draw the line?
Right.
You're gonna say you're elected official, but you can only be this, this, and this. What if you don't get nobody to run?
I know.
Nobody do. I mean, it makes no sense.
I think that would be a problem too. I heard it mainly came from one guy that had had a lot of complaints about their appraiser and that there wasn't very much support for it at our meeting at Hutchinson the other day. So,
And I'm not sure how you campaign. What kind of promises could the county appraiser make?
yeah.
I don't know if you can make it.
No.
Fair and equitable, I guess.
There you
Go
go.
that route and just think of that. All right, that's all I have now.
Very good.
I'll get back with you guys then.
Kenny was on it
Okay.
9:30. Okay.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't want to jump in front of anybody. Hi.
You know, Amy?
I didn't see it. Okay, so today I'm going through the comprehensive plan for community corrections. And again, we supervise adult felony offenders assigned to our program by the court. And, when I always like this process, even though it's kind of seems daunting sometimes, but you really are able to do a lot of evaluation of the last year, how we did, what we did well, what we needed to do better. Of course, the state continues to want us to have no more than 25% of our case closures go to prison. And so we've done a good job meeting that goal. This year, the fiscal year in that we're in now, which will end June 30th, I don't anticipate meeting that goal. And so it's kind of where we're really having to look at why is that. And I think the biggest change that we've seen, the House Bill 2448 Justice Reinvestment Act enacted a 180-day prison sanctions for offenders. And what we're seeing is that, although the court's doing a really good job at putting those folks into those sanctions rather than full revocation, the problem is that increasing as we increase the more people that have attended the prison. Shocker, it doesn't change them, because that's what we've done for several years is trying to figure out how to keep them out of prison. And we know that it doesn't work to, scared straight programs don't work, jail programs for juveniles don't work. It's not a shocker that we're finding that the outcomes for this. In fact, by the time I'm anticipating the end of, I haven't done March's stats for that quarter, but I'm anticipating about 80% of our folks that have attended a 120 or 180 are going to be revoked this year. So and those numbers just keep increasing, which increases our revocation rates. So we're really needing to figure out what can we do for these people really before they even get to the point where they need to be going to those sanctions and trying to influence more change before we get there. So we're going to be adding in GPS, electronic monitoring, so that maybe, and that kind of helps out, especially with the counties, especially Stafford County, considering you don't have your own jail. But, if we have somebody that is working and maybe they need that other sanction, which is to, we can tell where they're at. Now, it works well for the juveniles, but then of course you can argue that hopefully as a juveniles, their parents have a pro-social home that nothing bad's going on in the house. Not, adults always have that, a little bit different dynamic. But, for the folks that are working, it's another sanction opportunity that we could offer prior to going back before the court and trying to get that change in behavior that we're wanting. Because as you know, we are not going to sacrifice public safety for the sake of our outcomes. If we don't make the outcomes, we're not going to. But I'm not going to go down as somebody, people do bad things anyway. I don't want them on our program saying, oh, we turned a blind eye to violations. That's not going to happen. So I do assure you on that. But, we do have people of, I've talked for years now of, there's a life history of bad decisions and maybe have come from a family of people that make bad decisions. One of those things that I'm really super excited about for Stafford and St. John is the Circles of Hope trying to get off the ground. Because when I look out the people that have completed successfully from our program, the common denominators that they have their drug and alcohol domain is a very low risk, so they've got at least a year in recovery. They also have a positive pro-social ideas as far as attitudes and orientation, but then also accommodations are stable. And so it's easy to say like their finances are stable or like employment, but if you have somebody that's making barely a living wage or under that 200% poverty rate, I mean, it's still a struggle. And one thing happens, you have a kid get sick or, you get cut on your hours, it's a slippery slope back to where they started. So that's what I'm really excited about for this area, and we're actually trying to get it started in Grayson and Hoisington too, along with them. So have they talked to you about that, Circles of Hope?
I've been to some
meetings. Okay, I went last month, or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were here.
I didn't know that one, but I've met with them privately.
Cool. Yeah, there's really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay? We were supposed to go on. It's just one of those. We can't expect the government to fix people.
Right.
It's probably relationships going to fix people, if anything. I mean, that's one of the biggest changes. I know when I started, I've said all the time, it was you walk in, here's handcuffs, here's the mace, you do what I say, or you stand up and go with this officer. Well, that only takes you so far. It is more of that relationship, trying to figure out what the deal is, what needs to be fixed in their lives so that they can. And, if we can get that poverty issue and just, it's going to be a slow process, but they said, that first year, or the first class they have, it really takes a lot of recruiting, but then after that, it's just, it builds itself just because of how it works.
Have you worked with any counties that have been using that or not?
We have not.
Kiowa County would be a good one.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's who I'm sorry, I was thinking in terms of community corrections. But I know that they've got very successful, McPherson County has been the most successful in the nation. Saline County is very successful, and Greensburg, I mean, their focus really is on growth and helping those, I think they really wanted to expand at least 12 counties. So, I mean, it's just a really great opportunity. So anyway, I kind of, the white part is just the meat of our program and what we have been doing and how we operate within evidence-based practices. The yellow pages are kind of I've set for our goals for next year, which of course is to support that 75% success rate and not having more than 25% cases closed to prison. And we'll monitor that. We're going to add a couple of curriculums as far as cognitive behavioral change classes that we are going to have more that we can do one-on-one with folks. And hopefully we also are teaming up with Dr. Holsinger, who was the creator of a couple of assessments, and assessment of yourself and PICS. I can't remember what that stands for now. But but that is going to help measure the change of like, are these cost programs working, like to influence that change process within somebody, or are we wasting our time, or are we not doing it well? But then also how we talk to vendors, that's called EPICS, effective communication skills. And then we also have, want to still keep the foot on the gas as far as having timely and assessments completed with fidelity, so that we're having an accurate view of what the risk factors are of folks. Also having an active case planning that is directed with the high-risk domains that we assess for. And then also I want to add in a position, a contracted position, to help with kind of linking with the Circles of Hope, but also just within our folks of getting that. If we need somebody to take that person by the hand, get them to Kansas Works, or get them to go apply for jobs, or try to eliminate the barriers of what they're seeing, you know, some people just don't know, and you can't always address everything that they don't know. So we need somebody in the field that can help with that, and then so then just kind of success around that new person. This year we did receive what our allocation is expected to be. Now we'll see if we can go unscathed by the budget cuts. But otherwise, we did receive a little bit of an increase, about for $30,000. So our total budget for next year is $530,771.28. And so all of that money is allocated. The green pages just show the summary, and then the white pages behind that are the detail of our budget. Our office does follow the Office of Judicial Administration pay plan. I know there's been lots of talk about potential raises for state employees, that we would fall under that. I went ahead, just because I needed to allocate it, I went ahead and added a possible 2% increase, but if that doesn't get approved, then obviously I would change the budget. I'll probably have to come back to you guys and get an approved revised budget, but I just hate not to include it if that's anticipated. It's been a few years. When we did receive, we had gone long dry spell without any raises, then they increased it. I think it was in 13 or 14, and they had anticipated doing like a 2% and then a 2% for a couple of years to get them back at and of course that didn't happen. So. Shocker. So anyway, we'll go for it. So that's kind of the comprehensive plan in a nutshell, which I would ask for your approval to submit that to the Department of Corrections. And if you have any questions, I definitely entertain those. And I also have another grant that I'm submitting. I can go through both of them, or you want to vote on the other?
Let's go through both of them.
Okay. And then this is just we'll see how this works out, but there's a little $3 million grant that's available to all community corrections agencies, reference the Justice Reinvestment Act. And we have in the past asked for behavioral health vouchers to assist with indigent offenders getting services that might keep them. But we're really having a problem getting those bills from vendors, and they assume they're indigent, or they might get. It's just we're not expending the money that I think that we should be, and so I think I've said for years it's nice that we live in communities that have services available. So I need to figure out what is the other common issues of why it's not getting done, or why people are not staying invested. And again, I'm going to stick with that issue with relationships, and I would like to hire or contract with the Heartland Regional Contract Assessment Center for them to hire a care coordinator that would assess all of our offenders that are come onto the program And then if the people have a high, with their assessment tools, if they need additional services for drug and alcohol, that they would be assigned a recovery coach, and that recovery coach would help them facilitate through the recovery process. And kind of be that, like a good role model for them that, you know, you can't call, I'm a good support person for people, but you better call me between 8 and 5. You know, I'm not that 24/7, and we can get them with somebody that can help, or that they could, you know, link them with those support people that last just beyond their community corrections. So I'm asking for, and I don't have the final because I'm still trying to figure out how much, if anyone else is going to help pay for any of this with the, because I'm assuming it's $50,000 for the care coordinator, $20,000 for the recovery coach, so there's 70, and then also I'm assuming we're going to need to pay mileage, and so we're trying to figure out. I also would like to partner with the 24th Judicial District, and just to show some more collaboration, but that adds in that many more miles, so I don't know if it's how much to ask for in gas, but you know, out of $3 million, we'll see. I mean, they have to ask, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that just kind of speaks to what our needs are. As far as the biggest thing is just in this, how scary it is of our revocation rate on those 120, 180s. We've got to kind of, it's an easy go-to for the courts, but we need to figure out how we can kind of slow it down a little bit. A lot thrown at you.
Yep.
So, are there any questions? Otherwise, I'd ask for your approval to submit the FY18 comprehensive plan and the FY18 behavioral health grants.
Did you get all that?
I make a motion to show our support for the 2018 comprehensive plan and the 2018 grant as well.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to have our approval for the 2018 comprehensive plan and also for the grant. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And then if you can just sign and leave the top lines of those too.
Sign it. All those? or-
Oh, no, just the top.
Just the top.
Yeah, the top one.
Oh, the top, all right.
And I'll recycle the grants up here. And if you want, you can have them. If you don't, I'll take them off. I need some reading material, maybe to sleep. Okay,
Very good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. See you, what, in 6 months?
Probably.
Next.
When I walked in, you all said hi. I thought you were saying hi to me. I was like, oh. Please say motion carried.
Hi. That's okay. Depending on,
Well, hi.
That was funny.
YouTube, that wedding.
I was sitting over there laughing to myself. Hi. Okay, here's our quarterly, which is basically the same. Our ending balance is $9,668,666.40 as of March 31st. We're pretty liquid. I've sent out for bids for a new CD this week, so I'll get results on that. So I'm gonna ramp that up a little bit. So there's our pie graph of our liquid accounts and our CDs. And then drum roll. First quarter, interest earned $6,000. Looking over 2016, I guess we did increase a little bit from 15, so, but we have talked about that before. I think it has a lot to do with that depletion fund. That has really helped us have more cash available to earn more interest. So, there aren't any big purchases. I mean, if I'm going to be investing money, are there big purchases that are being planned that we would have to pull some of those CDs out? You always got to kind of really watch that fine line. So I am going to try to set it up. You know, I've told you before, I kind of do a ladder. So hopefully one CD's coming due every month anyway. So if you did run into cash, you could cash in one if you had to.
I don't think
I
there
didn't
is.
see anything.
I didn't know how, well, we'll just see how it goes, how much we want to keep trying to invest, so, okay.
How much is in the depletion fund allowance?
Like 800 or something.
That's over a million, I
Yeah, you're right, it is. 1.1.
think. 1, 2, or 1.
It is over a million.
Oops.
We haven't touched that at all. have we?
We're one of the few that still have it.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
You guys did good on that.
Keep our fingers crossed.
There's some counties that don't have it.
No, it's-
They blew it. As soon as they got it.
I don't understand that concept either.
Yeah.
Just-
1.3 million.
More than I thought.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Randy's here. I'm going to talk to you about that remote court stuff.
Oh, okay.
While he's here, before we forget.
Where did Randy go?
Now he's gone.
With accounts payable going up $250,000, $1.3 million.
Why don't we use that? I mean, you can use it, but it won't cover it at all. Not when their accounts payable is 1.9 million.
Now, didn't he go out to Greensburg and set up the camera?
Yes.
Didn't
You
we
know,
buy
there's
the
one of those
equipment for
Pratt and Greensburg, we paid for the all the
Greensburg,
equipment.
Pratt and Great Bend already
Already
had
had
it.
it, but we bought it in Greensburg.
Maybe on recess.
Yeah. We were wondering about the camera that we paid for down in Greensburg for, is that functional and everything, or?
My IT contact down there for the courthouse said they're doing extensive renovations at the jail. He told me I could come and get the equipment. It's still there. He accounted for it. But where we had it hooked up, that I guess is all getting redone, the building. He estimated 2 months, and they were just starting it. When Rob approached me like a month ago, back in January or something like that, they were just starting a very serious jail renovation. So the equipment's there. It's ready on this end. The software's been re-enabled, so the programs can be used.
There's
We'd like
nowhere
to
down
use
there to move it temporarily till they're done with the construction.
I can send an email and get you an answer back today.
Okay.
We'd like to use it.
Absolutely.
And Mike said he's used to using it anyway, so.
Yeah. And then when we rolled this out, the judge took to it right away. We did between her and I, and I think she even where we had it down there. We even did several sessions down there with the IT guy. I forgot his name. It was great. Beautiful video, HD quality. So it was. I just kind of got lost from there.
Are we hooked up with any other county to do that?
Rob indicated maybe, or Rob or Jeff indicated maybe they wanted to do Pratt,
But they
and then
haven't got back to you.
correct. Yeah. Do we want to explore that still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can.
because I don't think there's that many prisoners in Kiowa County anymore, are there? I don't think there's,
I think they avoid it because of the distance.
right. So I don't know that it's feasible to do it down there anymore, but.
If
we'd have to
if that's
talk
the
to Rob.
case, we could move that equipment from Greensburg to Pratt, maybe, something like that.
Well, Pratt and Green Bay, to my knowledge, have their own equipment.
Oh, wonderful, yeah. Now, that's the downside to this, if they've got their own equipment, if they're doing this project already, it might be something that we piggyback off of, and what we have in place right now might not be used, but
Right.
it would still allow the project to move forward. I can reach out to them today.
That'd be great.
It was Ron.
That's what we understood when we bought the one for Greensburg. The way I remember is they already had
Their equipment.
the equipment to do it
Brad.
at Pratt and Green Bay.
Oh,
So
Pratt.
that's why we bought the one for
Yes.
Kiowa County, because they wanted
They
us
have
to
nothing.
do that before they would,
Yeah.
before we could use
I
it.
don't think we've got that many prisoners
I've heard that they've been spreading them out all over. I don't know.
at Kiowa anymore.
You know, Greensburg was a nice setup. Jeff took me down there to go meet the sheriff down there, and I met the IT guy. We delivered the equipment down there, and the internet wasn't set up right, but he showed me where a parent or somebody would talk to the person incarcerated on the other side of the glass. They set it up right there, and the jailer would set the person down, and they'd be handcuffed to a chair that's immovable, and they could start the presentation right there, and it was great. It just kind of died off.
See, we haven't paid any Kiowa County prisoner expense since October 16th. So they must not have anybody down there. for Kiowa.
I would have to look at the last
I
law
don't
I
know if
used
we
to
haven't
get.
paid for them if they're down there. So
Yeah, maybe we don't.
I think it's mostly Pratt and Barton.
Yeah, get it going with them too then.
is where we-
How about Rice County? Do we send them?
There might be a few in
That was the highest price one though, wasn't it?
the
They used to have all the immigration. But you had to have a physician on staff or something, they were willing to do that, so we lost that.
See, there he is right there.
Oh,
Whoops.
Do we have any prisoners in Kiowa County? Since when? Recently?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
no, been up for 12 days.
Because we haven't paid anything since October.
No, no, it's our first bill.
Oh,
We don't use them because it's so far to drive, but we try not to, but that was the only jail that would take a female.
oh, that's right.
And currently, she's in Marshall Hospital.
Oh, yeah, that's,
So most of ours are in Pratt or Barton.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't go to Rise.
We do when the other one's done.
Yeah.
The last time they were full, we couldn't. Lately, it's been a problem getting female housing than anything else. Always before, females were the easiest thing to get housed, and now, for some reason, I don't know, all the jails around are full of females. But Rice couldn't take last time we tried, with females anyway. And that was, they were, Kiowa County was the last resort. I tried 4 other jails before Kiowa, because they were the farthest.
This is trash.
Yeah.
They're the cheapest, but they're the farthest. They're $35 a day.
this would go fast. I mean, if the Pratt, if my contact at Pratt is willing to use our software on their existing hardware, it would be next to nothing to implement this. Just a little bit of training, go here, do this, and bam, it's ready for the judge to start doing trials. And same would be for Barton. Barton, see, they've been doing it for quite a while down there. They have their own fiber under their street and everything, so they don't really use software. I mean, they use something proprietary, but yeah, I wouldn't think that would take much at all to get these two going.
Make it happen.
Yep.
So you
Sounds
two-
good.
Your contact at
Get on it.
Dan.
Where?
Dan, yeah, Lieutenant Dan Alcott.
Okay,
Okay.
He's the jail administrator.
awesome.
Anything else?
no.
Okay.